finally figuring out who is playing in the Big 12 championship game. One of them will be Iowa State beating Kansas State 29-21. We did not find out the Big 12 until 1:45 in the morning. We didn't find out who will be playing in the title game.
It's fun, wasn't it?
It was insane. We didn't find out the first team until 9:30 at night and the final weekend of the regular season. It just shows how crazy this conference has been. But Iowa State will be one of those teams against, obviously, Arizona State next weekend. Let's go over the Iowa State game first, though, starting off with their highest grade players in this win over Kansas State. Safety Tayshaun James, 76.5. Linebacker Jacob Ellis, 75.4. Cornerback Jontez Williams, 71.5. Defensive tackle Dominique Orange, 67.9. Cornerback Miles Purchase, 67.2. And then Rocco Beck, the quarterback, with a 51.8 grade. Let's go over to Kansas State with their highest grade players. Linebacker Austin Romaine, 90.7 grade. Offensive tackle Easton Kilty, 73.5. Damian Ilalio with a 72.6 grade. The D tackle Marquise Siegel, the safety, 71. Jace Brown, 70.7, and Avery Johnson, 65.5. Dalton, for you, the stat told the story in this Iowa State victory.
I think in this game, I think it's actually more about Kansas State just shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, you look at all of the mistakes they made. 2 fumbles in the first half that both led to touchdowns, and we've seen this. It's a repeated theme with K-State. What do we keep saying? They are who they are. It's Kansas State. Every game's the same, win or loss. And 2 first-half fumbles led to Iowa State touchdowns. That got them down 2 scores. 3 turnovers on downs, okay, including their final 2 drives when they did have a chance to tie it up. A 21-yard field goal was blocked. 8 penalties for 65 yards. Rocco Beck, they let him get away with 3 turnover-worthy plays. Didn't get a turnover on any of them. And Avery Johnson, safety, in the fourth quarter, he rolls the ball's at the 22-yard line, and he scrambles all the way back into his own end zone and picks up an intentional grounding. I mean, these are just all of the things you can't do if you're going to try to beat a good football team. I mean, that's just where it's at. And they still only lost by 1 score. I mean, honestly, I think Iowa State, considering all of K-State's mistakes, they're kind of fortunate to come out of this game with a win. And I don't think they played great at all. I think they did just enough, and they just played a slightly cleaner football game. But this game was about Kansas State just giving it away. And that's kind of been a theme when they've lost. In their 4 losses this season, they've turned the ball over 10 times. In their 8 wins, only 5. 5 turnovers in their 8 wins. I mean, this is a team, we know, they want to control the ball, they want to run the ball, they want to get ahead, and they want to play clean football. We've seen 4 games this year where they don't do that, and they've lost all 4 of them. This is just where it's at, and they're not good enough in the passing game to come back from 2 scores down. They're just not. It's that simple. And if they turn the ball over, Kansas State is a team with very little margin for error. And they went way beyond that in this game. They absolutely could have won this game if they had cut these mistakes even in half, and some of them just inexplicable. It's just, I think Iowa State kind of got away with one. I'm going to be honest with you a little bit, because I don't think it was a great performance from them. It was just a worse one from K-State.
Yeah, Kansas State, 53 rushing grade in this one. And listen, this is the final time we're doing a review for Kansas State and even a preview for them either. You stop the run, you stop Kansas State. We talk about it time and time again. Their worst rushing grade, Dawn, since 2017. 27 years they had rushing grade this bad. Only broke 1 tackle on 30 rushing attempts. They had a 3% broken tackle rate. It's the worst since 2018, so 6 years as well there. The offensive line did an okay job at creating holes for them, but Avery Johnson, DJ Giddens, they just could not create on their own against Iowa State. And give credit to Iowa State. They did a great job of wrapping up in this game and not allowing Kansas State ground game to kill them, because if they didn't tackle well, they would have killed them. But Iowa State did a great job of not missing any tackles at all in the run game. And really is why Kansas State lost this game. Their rushing grade, the worst in 7 years. They just could not create anything, which is kind of ironic considering Avery Johnson and DJ Giddens have been great at creating stuff all year.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just where it's at with Kansas State. They are, I think, the most predictable team in college football. We just know if they run the ball and they play their game, they're going to win. If they get out of it in any way and and Avery Johnson is forced to throw the football in drop back situations, that he's not ready to do it. And he's got to develop a lot in the offseason and this passing game. They won't win the Big 12 until they get something out of this passing game. And I know occasionally he hits a deep shot. I get it. And he's, I'm not saying he's like the worst quarterback in the Big 12 or anything. I've already made too many mistakes with that. But it's just so one-dimensional. It is. And now you're going to lose DJ Giddens to the draft, who's, what is he, a 1,300-yard back this year, 1,400? They have to find it. If they're going to center this team around Avery Johnson, they've got to become more two-dimensional, or you're just going to keep getting this Jekyll and Hyde of like, okay, we ran for 350 yards this week and it was great, and then you have a game like this where I need my quarterback to bail us out, right? Like, I mentioned with Lenora Sellers. Sometimes you want to see if your quarterback can just will you to a win. It's just, I don't think it's there consistently with Avery Johnson right now.
Yeah,
I don't. I actually have serious questions as to whether they can win this conference with him at quarterback.
And even with Giddens leaving too, now you're hoping Dylan Edwards could be the next DJ Giddens. Now you're hoping hopefully that guy can be
it's
a 13
not the same type of back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're hoping a 1,300-yard guy could be a Dylan Edwards. Like, that's a dangerous place to be for Kansas State, honestly. Don't for you the most impressive part, though, in this Iowa State victory.
I'll take Iowa State's highest graded player, safety, to Sean James. This young player who I think made a big impact in this game, played his second most snaps of the season this week, and made an impact at safety. 8 tackles, 3 defensive stops, allowed just 1 catch. It was a 7-yard touchdown, but that was the only catch he allowed. And I think a huge play, maybe the biggest play in this game, he's the guy who punched out. He forced the Keegan Johnson fumble in the second quarter that Iowa State eventually scored on to make it 17-7. So I'll go with Tashawn James, Iowa State's highest graded player.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jontez Williams. Wasn't the highest graded player, but he had a really good game in this one. 3 forced completions, only 2 allowed catches for 26 yards. Iowa State secondary has been easily the biggest strength of this team, besides the receiving core probably all year, and he's been a major reason for it. He's an 84.2 coverage grade on the season, and Iowa State as a team is 11th in the nation in coverage grade at 90.5. So Jontez Williams, is he the best defensive back on Iowa State? I wouldn't say so, but he was probably the best one yesterday. He's had a really good year as well, with an 84.2 coverage grade in the season.
They got 3 really good ones, don't they? When you've got Darian Porter and Miles Purchase and Jontez Williams, I mean, that'll do. And again, you mentioned it. It's a team that they're tied with Colorado for the lead in the Big 12 in coverage grade, and they're going to need that. They are going to need that this week because the team they're about to play is raging hot on offense, and we saw that again yesterday.
Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.